Good morning, everyone. My name is PRADEEPA. Today I'm going to share some techniques on how to incorporate testing from day one. Technique number one, defining behaviors as a team. How can we do that? On day one of your sprint, your team will be working on the top priority item. Let's assume that my team is working on a bookstore application, and I have a user story that goes like this. As a book buyer, I wanted to locate the book of my choice so that I can purchase the book. The book buyer is my user here. For some reason, teams love to name their users, kind of like a persona. So the users are going to be Rob Reader and Ben Bookworm. Once you have that, as a team, you can collaborate and come up with all sorts of what-if scenarios, behaviors. What if Rob Reader goes to the bookstore, purchases a book, later changes his mind, and returns the book back? What happens to the inventory? What if Ben Bookworm gets a 15% coupon by mail and he uses that to purchase a book? You get the gist of it, right? Scenarios. Ultimately, what you're doing here is refining and defining your tests. This is something you can do it as a team on day one. Technique number two, pairing between specialties. We all are very familiar with developer and a developer pairing from extreme programming, very popular there. What if a developer pairs up with a testing specialist? Let's say on day one of your sprint, your developer writes a small piece of a code and they are following it up with a unit test. Better yet, if they are practicing test-driven development, the first thing they'll be doing is writing a failed unit test. Instead of writing these tests on their own, what if they pair up with a test specialist, two brains thinking and fleshing out scenarios instead of one? You can come up with all sorts of really good test cases at the unit test level. This is something you can absolutely do on day one. Technique number three, creating testable task list. How can we do that? What do I mean by that? During sprint planning meeting, once the team decides what the goal is, two things will happen. The team is going to decide on what they are going to be working on, and the second part is how they are going to be doing that. Oftentimes, teams will come up with a list of tasks for the how section. What if all the tasks that the teams are creating are testable tasks? Not a development task, not a testing task, it's encompassing both. We have tried it, we have struggled, it's not easy, it's a little bit tricky, but we were able to do it. Hopefully, the tasks are not going to span across multiple days, less than a day worth of work. Once you do that, by end of day one, when you finish a task, you're also making sure it's tested. So there you go, testing on day one. With all these three techniques, defining behavior as a team, pairing between specialties, and creating testable task list, you can definitely incorporate testing from day one. Can we incorporate testing from day one? I would say, yes, we can. Thank you very much.